I'm back with another Batmobile, and this time we're going to be taking a look at the Eaglemoss Batmobile from Detective Comics number 27. As most of us know, 2014 marks the 75th anniversary of The Batman, and May is considered to be the month of Batman, so I thought this would be a good time to make a video for this particular model. Detective Comics number 27, as we know, was the issue that introduced the Batman to the world, and Batman was, of course, created by artist Bob Kane and the lesser-known Bill Finger. Now, we all know who Bob Kane is, and I think diehard Batman fans will know who Bill Finger is. So, if you don't know that name, do yourself a favor and look him up. Many of the core characteristics of Batman were created by writer Bill Finger, especially certain aspects of the origin story and the more Dark Knight elements that many fans today love about the character. Bill Finger was also the co-creator of several members of Batman's Rogues Gallery, including the Joker, the Penguin, and Two-Face, just to name a few. And he's obviously the writer on the first several issues of Detective Comics. Now, Detective Comics 27 not only introduced the Dark Knight to the world, it was also the issue that gave us the very first automobile used by Batman. In fact, you see this version of the Batmobile on the opening page of issue 27. And at the time, ironically, it was a car that was used by both Bruce Wayne and Batman. That's not suspicious at all, right? In the opening of the story, Commissioner Gordon just sort of casually invites his socialite friend, Bruce Wayne, to go observe a crime scene, a murder. And they both ride together in what we later realize to be the Batmobile. And actually, in the first several issues of Detective Comics, the car is not even referred to as the Batmobile. They just call it Batman's car. And it's not until issue number 48 of Detective Comics, with Batman and Robin, that it's referred to as the Batmobile for the very first time. So, let's quickly take a look at some of the special features that are highlighted in the magazine. Now, this design of the car isn't exactly the first thing that we think of when we imagine the Batmobile, right? We don't think of Batman patrolling the streets of Gotham in this bright red sedan. So this really kind of dates the character for us. And this is technically the first incarnation of the Batmobile, so the features are kind of limited, but it does have some classic crime-fighting tools like a battering ram, which we find in some of the later models of the Batmobile. It has a police radio, a TV monitor, and it has hidden machine guns, just like the 89 Batmobile, right? And my favorite feature is the spare Batman costume that he keeps in the trunk. He keeps it in this big suitcase with the bat symbol on the top. Now, the diorama that Eaglemoss has given us actually comes from the end of Detective Comics number 28. It's a scene where Batman pulls up in front of the Gotham City precinct in the Batmobile, and he drops off the leader of this jewel gang named Frenchie Blake, and the police come running out to take Frenchie into custody. And the 3D lenticular is a recreation of that moment. It's not the Bob Kane artwork from the book. This version is actually very clean, I guess maybe to help with the 3D image. So you can see the cops running out, and Frenchie is unconscious there at the foot of the stairs. I think it's funny how Batman just kind of honks his horn all ghetto style, and he lets the cops know that he's dropping off this criminal, and then he just kind of takes off. And of course, the base is a nicely detailed image of the street in front of the Gotham City precinct. So let's take a closer look at this model of the very first Batmobile. Most of the Eaglemoss models are a combination of die-cast metal and high-grade plastic. And I'd say this model, unlike some of the others that I've reviewed, is predominantly die-cast. Aside from the rubber tires and the plate on the bottom, the only other parts that are plastic are the front bumper and the back bumper, as well as the tail lights there, and the detail inside the cabin. That, of course, is also plastic, like the steering wheel. But the bulk of the model is die-cast metal. I think Eaglemoss did a fantastic job with casting this mold, because if you look at Bob Kane's artwork, as dynamic as it is kind of rudimentary. You know, they're kind of like little doodles. So Eaglemoss, of course, they had to take a few liberties when making this model. I don't think the design of this Batmobile is modeled after one specific car. It's sometimes described as a sedan, and I've also read that it's sort of a combination of two different cars. Most notably, the front end resembles a Lincoln. And the only real indication that this car is a Batmobile is the tiny little bat symbol on the front of the hood. I think it's one of those things where if you weren't looking for it, you probably wouldn't even notice it. And I like how that little bat symbol has stuck over the years. You know, it's sort of morphed into other things like the battering ram on the hood. And with subsequent models of the Batmobile, there are certain design characteristics like that bat symbol that have just stuck over the years. You know, they all have some sort of image of the bat or the bat cowl. Most of them are black in color. You know, you do have a few that are different. The big thing is probably the bat fins, the bat tail fins in the back. Most of the cars also have that. And again, there's just this sort of symmetry. Even though each car looks unique, you kind of instantly recognize it as Batman's car, right? As the Batmobile. And I think one of the reasons why the Tumbler had so many fans split is because it was such a deviation from those traditional characteristics that all started with this red Batmobile. In closing, I think this is another great model from Eaglemoss. You know, all the sculpted detail on the side doors, the hood, the lights on the front, the sculpting of the trunk in the back, it all adds a certain realism to the model. I know it's not the first design that comes to mind when we think of the Batmobile, but I think it is a must-have for collectors, mainly because of its significance in the history of Batman and the history of the Batmobile. As always, I'd love to know what you guys think, so I hope you do take a moment to rate, comment, and of course subscribe if you haven't done so already. So, we've been looking at the Eaglemoss Batman Automobilia Issue number 15, the Batmobile from Detective Comics number 27. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.